Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Shahini, and in today's podcast, we have a guide to oral and maxillofacial surgery with none other than the most renowned Dr. Ankush Bandadi, an oral and maxillofacial surgeon, a head and neck oncosurgeon who's been practicing in Pune for the last 10 years. Hello, sir.
Hello,
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so to start off, what initially inspired you to get into this field of oral and maxillofacial surgery, sir?
Right. I was fortunate enough to know at the end of my third posting in BDS in third year, when I did my few extractions, I was confirmed and sure about I want to pursue a post graduation in oral and maxillofacial surgery. So that what's got me into this, and I was definite that time only.
Right. So there will be many people like you, right, who would have thought about it right from their previous days. People who are currently considering picking this as a specialty. Would you like to give any specific tip to such people who are aspiring to be a
Yes, definitely. So all the interns or who's preparing for NEET, the main thing is now the post graduation is not like before that. If you do a post graduation, you will get a job or you are secure for life. There are n number of specialists now. So if you want to do MDS now, the only criteria is if you're really passionate about it. So if you are really passionate about something, any field, not only oral surgery, then only invest your 3 years into this so you have a good career. And if you are not sure, take your time, put 6 months in the practice and know your passion and then pursue it. That would be my advice.
That's a very useful advice, sir. So actually, I am currently a postgraduate in oral
Right.
maxillofacial. But when I was under the like the dilemma of whether I can actually go for it, many people advise me saying that this is a male-dominated field. Females should take a step back or something. So, what is your take on this?
I will tell you one fact for sure because I know so many of female oral maxillofacial surgeons who are leading. Once you take oral and maxillofacial surgery, there is no men and women. There are only oral and maxillofacial surgeons. So there is no difference. You can do whatever you want to do and there is no limit.
Very well said, sir. So, throughout your surgical career, what would you say is was the biggest challenge that you faced? And through that challenge, would you say that any specific skill, especially a non-surgical skill that you picked up during your PG life that helped you?
In during PG life, I will tell ki how you communicate to the patient is the half surgery done.
Right.
If you can convince the patient that surgery is really helpful to you, you must go ahead and patient is agreeing to it and knowing the benefits and the complications of the surgery beforehand, it helps you long way. So that is one that every surgeon should learn how to communicate to your patient before touching the patient. Yes.
And what do you think is like the biggest myth that people have about this specialty in general?
It is common in most of the general public and dentists that oral maxillofacial surgeon is just for wisdom tooth surgery or minor oral surgery, or maximum they can do is jaw fractures and all. But maxillofacial surgeons are leading in microvascular surgeries, then rhinoplasties, plastic surgery, and hair transplant. So the limit is only in your mind. Otherwise, sky is your ground.
Right. So, throughout this path of yours, do you think mentorship has played a huge role? And if yes, any specific mentor you would like to mention?
Yes, definitely. I was lucky to get mentors like Dr. Kirti Kumar Rai, who was my guide when I was doing PG, and that I've done fellowship under Dr. B.R. Patil sir. So if you have a good mentor, your career growth becomes 2x or 3x in short period of time because they guide you, teach you that. And I love the quote which my mentor used to say, you will have the person who have the most impact on your life for the shortest duration in your life. So I feel ki they were there for 2 years or 3 years, but they have shaped me for whole my life. So I really grateful for that.
Oh, that's very nice, sir. So, you've been practicing for the past 10 years.
Yes.
What do you think is the secret to having a flourishing surgical practice? Any tips you would like to give for the young surgeons out there?
Yes. So the the game has changed. It is not like before that you set up a practice, you stay at one place, and then patient starts coming to you. Now it has become more like a networking thing. You should put your skills out there, because even if you are skillful, the patient should come to you to show your skills. So you have to have that social connect, networking, and doing other things to get your practice running in the initial stage. And then you flourish.
So you were just talking about saying about networking. Do you think social media also plays a crucial role in today's world about the
For few people, it might not work, but social media, what it does, it if you are educating, helping with your work to someone. And the most important thing in social media is I'm doing surgeries Pune. And if I put it on social media, a person sitting in a small corner in Northeast or Kashmir or somewhere in the South knows that how this surgery is done or how should I plan it. So that is the impact of social media. So you can do a surgery which was not there before. So how you use your social media is very important.
But do you think that could be a source for bringing in more patients or bringing in more clients?
See how you do use it, it totally different. But putting out your work like that is influences people, because today we don't even order a dal without seeing a review on Zomato. So yeah, you have to change to your customers.
Correct. So if you had to go back in time and give your younger self a message, what would it be?
The only thing I regret is not doing the financial planning or investment early in my career. That I would highly recommend everyone, even if you are first day of your practice, start investing whatever you are earning. That will help you long way to have a very without stress. Well, you will not have stress about the practice. So that is very helpful when you flourish.
That is a very important tip for us key followers. So now coming to the final segment of our podcast, a rapid fire.
Okay.
So your favorite instruments are?
For me, it will be mixed at forceps to ligate.
Nice. Okay. A dream surgical superpower you wish.
I wish I had that laser eyes that heals the scar in a minute.
So if you could do only one surgical procedure for the rest of your life, what was that one procedure?
I am little biased here. Leg dissection for me.
Okay. So if you could give a name, like if your colleagues would give a name to your career, what would you think they would be?
Healing man.
Wow, that's a very nice one. Phew. So finally, OMS, is it a passion or profession to you?
It's the passion I am pursuing professionally.
Wow, that is very well put, sir.
Thank you.
So now we've come to the end of the podcast. Thank you for giving us such insightful tips on how to approach OMFs and grow professionally, sir. Any final words from this?
I just want to say, whatever you are doing, first be excellent in what you are doing, and the rest of things will fall in place automatically. Focus on the things you want, and they will appear in your life.
Wow, that's a very impactful message.
Thank you.
Thank you.